As the credits rolled, I felt a sense of relief. Not that this film was over, but the fact that I finally saw something unique. Something more than Hollywood pandering to the biggest audience and casting the widest net. The antithesis of films like Red Notice. A fantastical tale in which we rarely see in Hollywood today. A story that has no agenda to push, no broader statement on the modern societal landscape as a whole, but an introspection of us as humans in general. My love for Guillermo Del Toro runs deep, and I wanted to share just a bit of reasoning as to why his films are so fantastical, beautiful, and the ones that deserve more attention. Though this film is not a sensory blockbuster that allows you to receive unfettered dopamine hits, it is a film made for story lovers in the truest sense. Nightmare Alley is an exploration into the mind of Stanton Carlisle, his psyche as a whole, and how he allows himself to become a monster at the expense of others and to be willfully blinded by greed, supported by its well-acted all-star cast and an incredible attention to detail that really lets the viewer soak up information to the fullest.
Our cop corps.
That's right. Toe the line, don't fuck with me. That's the lesson.
The movie starts with no buildup. The scene is deliberately made to be confusing. Though nothing much is known about Stanton, we can see his callousness with a sinister undertone that we can't quite pinpoint as to why. The scene quickly tries to distract us and transforms into the bright and cheerful atmosphere of the circus, giving the viewers just enough time to sense that something is off with Stanton, but not enough time to know what his character's intentions really are. Bradley Cooper plays a very nuanced and curious Stanton, but that isn't to say he is emotionless, rather quite the contrary. During the Geek Show, he is first off-put by the weirdness of it all, yet then accepting of the horrors in the name of monetary benefits that could potentially come alongside such exploitation. From this, we can get glimpses that Stanton Carlisle is a man with a mask, a broken mask that lets us see his possible motives, but one that isn't so easy to spot for those under his illusions. While trying to avoid gate fees, Stanton is caught by Clem Hotley, a ringleader who also seeks to exploit others in the name of profit. Even with Willem Dafoe being the star in every scene that he's in, the focal point is completely on the fact that Stanton disregards Clem as anything but a means to an end. Clem, and Molly by extension, are both characters that are just tools for Stanton to inevitably reach the top. Nothing is shown of them. Their desires, goals, and even the faintest hints of their personal life are left out, at least in my opinion, deliberately, to show how these pivotal characters, one who changed the entire course of his life, are thrown to the wayside as soon as someone with status comes along. I personally believe that this deliberate obscuring of these characters and background stories extend the furthest to Stanton. We know nothing about him, but better yet, I believe he knows nothing about himself, or even the reasoning behind his own motives and why he's so keen on exploiting others. But even if we know nothing, the only thing we need to know for the telling of his story are his motivations and delusions. The beauty of Nightmare Alley is that while it's filled with intricate details, foreshadowing, set design, it is still at its core a simple story that has clear character motives that revolve around the emotions that are laid bare, while leaving the rest up to our imagination. A few key moments that showcase Stanton's slow descent into the monster that he is truly born to be are his interactions with Molly. We see him trying to give her the world, or marriage, without seeing any real reasons as to why she is the one. The only motive that we can visibly see is the fact that he has a plan, and she is the perfect tool to execute said plan. Molly is the only uncorrupted gem within the circus, one who could be easily made to conform to his ideals. Stanton only realizes truly that he needs her for this plan to work after he feels confident and capable enough of manipulating even those with authority. Throughout the rest of the film, Once he has Molly in his grasp, she becomes a background character. Not only invisible to Stanton, but also to us as the audience. One key distinction of these characters is that just because they are made to be vague and seemingly directionless does not mean they are not impactful. In fact, they are impactful to a point that they directly affect the psyche of Stanton without him ever realizing he is above the manipulation. Everyone has a key role in his descent. Everyone plays a part in the inevitable dismantlement of his mask, one that he so desperately tries to keep on for the sake of his own warmth and for his fear of the cold and bitter truth. One character that we quickly see taking over the entire focal point of this movie appears at the midway mark. Lilith, played by Cate Blanchette, appears on screen the exact moment that Stanton starts to slip into a blind greed, not knowing the difference between his own charm and his insurmountable ego. Though Stanton does not appear to notice her at first, the movie deliberately plays her up, possibly trying to associate the fact that his subconscious may already be fully focused onto her. From this point on, we see a character who has a greater motive than Stanton himself, and in doing so, we finally get to see Stanton's fall from grace, the eventual unraveling of his mask, the inevitable descent into pure madness, all born from a character he deemed unworthy of his attention. Lilith has a motive, a strong desire to break down Stanton as a character, to reveal his secrets and to shatter his ego so that he may never be blinded again. One can argue that, though Lilith has a seemingly strong motive to string Stanton along, she never explicitly shows the reason why, thus making her character monotone, static, and essentially boring. But a counterpoint I have to that is, what if we flip the script? If this movie were to be seen through the lens of Stanton Carlisle and more so a twisted introspection into his life as a whole, then we can start to slowly see that these characters are exactly where they're supposed to be, acting the exact way Stanton thinks they are acting. Through his lens, Lilith is vague because he does not care for her story. We don't know the reasoning for her motives because Stanton doesn't know. We don't know why she is pursuing him because Stanton doesn't know. We don't know why she's seemingly helping this insufferable man because he doesn't know. This entire movie is a retelling of his blind obliviousness to the truth, a wonderful journey into the human psyche and how the incredible cast are left vague, essentially meaningless, all because Stanton couldn't see anyone for something other than the tools for his personal gain. Throughout this entire film, not a single piece of info leading into Stanton's life is shown or explained to us. We are kept from the truth of these characters because Stanton is too blinded to see them. These secrets may never be found, the reasonings may never be explained, all of them hidden, save for one titular scene that perfectly describes Stanton. A scene in which Pete describes Stanton's need for love, but also his hate for the love of others seemingly beneath him.
I see an older man. Oh, the boy hates him. Oh, the boy would love to be loved, but he hates that man.
Stanton Carlisle is a man blinded, a man who absolutely needed warmth and care in his life, but a man who achieves that warmth through the harm of others. Stanton needed someone with a fire greater than his to show him what it truly is like to be loved but not adored, someone to correct his path. But that's a difficult task to ask of someone else when he has subconsciously given up on himself long before the movie started. To conclude on this, Nightmare Alley is an incredible experience and a fairy tale that sparks the imagination of its viewers, and I would highly recommend anyone who has not yet seen the film to go watch it.